Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Matasya Sishyam Sri Shankaracharya Matasya Padma Padam cha Hastamalakam cha Sishyam Tam Todakam Vartika Karamanyan Asmad Gurun Santatamanatosmi Shruti Smriti Purananamalaya Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kridau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. ज्ञान मिला है तो मोक्ष मिलना ही चाहिए, ऐसा कुछ लोगों को मन में है. Knowledge has happened, then moksha जरूर होना चाहिए. As soon as the knowledge is gained, there would be immediately moksha. तो साधन क्या क्या अवश्य है. एक ज्ञान साधन में, in this path of knowledge, obtaining knowledge alone is sufficient. There is no other need for any other sadhana. In a way it is true, but in a way it is not. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya says there should be a total vigilance, because anadi avidya maya. Maya is so beginningless and it is so powerful. We as jivas, we may intellectually understand and even try to practice it, but the power of the past, vasanas and other things which have been there for a long time, to overcome that, it takes many lives, even for those who know. Bhagavan Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapatyate. Jnana Ajnanavan. Jnanavan Mam Bahunam Janmanam Ante Prapyate. Think about Ajnani then. Even those who have the knowledge also get after many lives. So, kyun? Why is it so? It is because of the power of our own samskaras or vasanas, whatever you call. That's why it is said in this section, very elaborately, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says how important is apramadatvam. not falling prey to erroneousness. Pramado vai mrityuhu. Erroneousness is death. Death in the sense not physical death, but from the path of moksha, a person who is eager to obtain moksha, when such a person falls prey for erroneousness, that itself is a death. Because falling back is death. So extreme vigilance is necessary. Shurasya dara nishida duratyaya durgam padastat kavayo vatanti. Kavayaha mahapurushaha padanti, they say. What? Durgam padaha. This panta, this particular path is dukkena gamtum shakyate. Durga, durgamatvat. Durgam padastat kavayo vadanti. Shurasya dharaiva. Like a razor's edge. If you make a mistake, it will cut you into pieces. So those who are ignorant and they make mistakes, they will not be affected that much. Because there is no other choice. If I am sensuous and I fall to sensuousness, is there any regret also in my part? There's no regret. Whereas I know this is not right, and yet I fall prey for it, you not only feel guilty about it, but also you know that you have a setback. You proceeded to some extent. It is like that ladder on the snake thing situation only. You just come back to a point which you started some few years back, and again I have to start. It is with respect to dieting or food, in any of those things. Moment you slack it, body will immediately go back to the habits. We know that our habits are so very hard to overcome. And this is the mistake of the soul which is done for many lives. And so falling back will be really like a death. Sometimes people who fall prey to such thing, they suddenly lose hope also. I don't think it's possible in this Dharma. I cannot do it. It's very difficult. Easily people can give up also. So, as Gurudev writes, if after all our efforts the vasanas are not totally exhausted, then the balance that remains to trouble us is called destiny. This is very powerful. Each one will have to live out his prarabdha. When it is strong, it cannot be ended with self-effort. One may try one's best. Yet, vasanas will assert and insist on inducing their results. They have to be lived through and acted upon. There is no other go. When we thus live through our prarabdha, what must be our strategy to go through it safely, bringing the least wear and tear to our spiritual dimensions, which have been acquired by our sincere and long sadhana? In case an individual, even after years of sadhana, considers this pluralistic phenomena world as true, he is still a seeker and not a perfected one, siddha. Then he must go through it all, constantly remembering the Lord. To encourage the others and to sustain himself, let him keep smiling even though the most gruesome experiences. So let him go through life, meeting bravely and efficiently all the problems that stand crowding around him. They are all expressions of this residual prarabdha. So one has to go through the prarabdha. What is not, cannot be overcome in spite of knowledge. That doesn't mean one should give up. One should hold on to the Lord's feet, Guru's feet, or to abide in the knowledge. and even many lives it will take. But every life it will become little better if we have put an effort. The next time the prarabdha will be much less. Further births it will be further less until one finally gets out of it. So that is why it is said in verse number 2321, Pramado Brahmanishtāyām na kartavyah kadāchana Pramado mrityurityahuhu ityaha also. Bhagavan Brahmanas Sutaha Pramado Brahmanishtāyām na kartavyah kadāchana Pramado mrityurityaha ityaha Bhagavan Brahmanas Sutaha iti aha said. Iti ahuhu, it means it is said. Who Brahmanas Sutaha. Brahmanaha Sutaha. So that is Sanat Kumara, Sanat Sujataha. In Sanat Sujatiya, it is said very clearly what? Pramadam vai mrityumaham bravimi. You know, in Tamil language, pramada means very good. Huh? Oh, pramadam. Meaning, how is the food? Pramadam. Pramadam means what? There the word is mad. Mad means delight. Pramada means delightful. It should not be taken in the same way. So, here pramada means erroneousness, failure, committing blunder. It's called. So, pramado brahmanishtāyām. Kadāchana kadapi brahmanishtāyām pramadaha anavadhanata. Avadhana meaning carefulness, alertness. Anavadhanata chutihi. Chutihi falling apart, failing. Na kartavya, not to be done. Na ashrayaniya, not to be resorted to. Yataha Bhagavan Sarvajnaha Ajana Siddhaha Brahmanaha Sutaha Sanat Sujataha Dhritarashtam Prati. So, Sanat Sujataha, so he spoke to Dhritarashtra saying, Pramadam vai mrityumaham bravimi. Pramado mrityuhu. Ityaha Bhagavan Brahmanas Sutaha. So, the erroneousness or committing blunder or being inadvertent or not being careful, as we take up more and more subtle aspects of our life, more and more careful we should become. When we live in a gross life, very tamasic life, a tamasic person who's lazy and doing nothing, he cannot make mistakes. Why? He's not doing anything. Because of mistake. I didn't make any mistake in my exam, that. Why? I didn't even go for the exam. Again, you didn't even go there. Somebody said that I never had any accident, I can tell, I never had a car accident, Meaning, I never drove my car to an accident. How? I never drove. It's a question of meeting an accident. So a person who is not attempting to become better, how can you make mistakes? As I said, Gurudev went to some place and said, how is everything going on? No problem. No problem because you're not doing anything. You do something only, you have a problem. So here a person who is Brahmanishtāyām pramāda na kartavya. That is to be underlined. जो ब्रह्मनिष्ठा के लिए वो प्रयत्न करता है, उसमें one who is attempting to remain abiding in Brahman, such a person may he not do any mistake there. That's what it means. So let such a person who is attempting to maintain one's attention on Brahman constantly as oneself, in that let him not make a mistake. That's why Bhagavan Krishna says, Shanaihi Shanaihi Uparamet. Slowly, slowly withdraw the mind whenever it goes. Somebody, we don't even know when it goes. that is a problem. You don't even know that it goes. So whenever the mind is deviating into something else, and when you recognize that it is deviated. So Gurudev used to say that when you're doing the Japamala, why Japamala is necessary? If I can remember the Lord, this why I need to count. Am I counting on the God? You don't need to count on God. You think about God. So why Japamala? He used to make fun of it. Only then, when it slips, you know that you slept. Externally, you have to keep it. Once it falls away from your hand, then you know you slept. Interesting thing is, the Shankaracharyas, if you see, they always carry a stick, you know that? Brahma Danda, it's called. That Danda, or the stick that they carry, represents Brahman. And they hold on to it. Now, holding on to means, it's physically holding on means remembering Brahman all the time. That's why they always keep it on their shoulder and they are holding it. They only put it down only when they sleep. Otherwise, they will always carry that. So externally also, they symbolically, they say that I am abiding in the self. That is the symbol there. The Danda is representing Brahman. And they hold on to that. So it reminds them that I am unabiding in this. I have to abide in the self, not leave it. So, pramado vai mrityuhu. Pramada is definitely a great grave mistake. So Gurudev says here, him does not mean the one who is worshipped in the temples. He is your awareness, this brilliant light of wisdom expressing in all creatures. That abidance in the self, the Brahman, is nothing other than one's own awareness. In no circumstances, no place, no time should you ever forget this great reality. Constantly remember him in your own heart, just as you never forget that you are an ego, that you are a man. So continuously and constantly assert that your real nature is the self. So, but see, remembering myself as a human, I don't need to keep thinking about it. I'm a man, I'm a human. I don't need to think about it. It's a second nature. So, but here it is not like that. Brahman, you have to specifically pay attention to. It should not become a kind of, what do you call that? Naturally, I will be there as Brahman. No. Because of our overwhelming identification with our individual ego, one may come to easily forget the higher nature and hold on to the lower nature as oneself. It has to be consciously replaced. Do not think that's why I have told in last few days back, I had the talk on the power of the mantra. The japa should not be done in parallel to something else. Swamiji, I do japa while I'm cooking. So I told them, neither you are doing japa nor you are doing cooking then. It does not have the power if you do it with something else. It may be occupying your mind, but that's not the main purpose of mantra. Mantra is to cross the mind. When you are working, how can you do? Japa will help you probably to keep your mind focused on Bhagavan, whatever. But the purpose of the mantra is to transcend the mind. Therefore, it has to be exclusively done. Then only it has the complete power. In the same way, here, hey, anyway, I'm Brahman, I know, so why should I think about it? No, you have to think about it. Do not say that I don't want to think about it. It's there anyway. This is the, what you call the laxity. People take it for granted because of the knowledge. Anyway, I'm Brahman, I know that, so what is there to think about it? No. Because when you deviate from that, immediately your old nature will come and occupy you right there. This is called forgetfulness, pramada. So, next verse he says, na pramadathanarthonyaha jnanina swaswarupataha tato mohastato hamdihi tato bandhastato vyata na pramadathanarthonyaha jnanina swaswarupataha tato mohastato hantihi tato bandhastato vyata. So, pramadat anyaha anarthaha na. There is no other which is most dangerous than this forgetfulness. Pramadat anarthaha na anyaha. There is nothing which is greater in danger than this forgetfulness. To whom? Jnaninaha. For the jnanin, for those who have the correct knowledge. As I said, it is not for the ignorant person. The man of the world, when you go and tell him, abide in Brahman, what do you mean? Otherwise, it's great anartha for you. First of all, I don't have any artha on what you are saying. I don't even understand that. What is anartha for me then? And from where? Forgetfulness of what? Swaswarupataha pramada. From one's own true nature. Forgetting one's own true nature, for those who know their true nature, there is no greater danger than that. Why? Because moment one forgets one's own true nature, at once the delusion starts. Tataha mohaha. Delusion begins right there. It's just waiting to catch on you. So let us say that you are going through a 2 or 3 weeks of course on diet. So not like when I go for this, 2 weeks or 3 weeks Ayurveda diet. Lost 6-7 pounds. It's so happy, so light you feel. Great. Next, you take the flight from Coimbatore to Bombay. And the flight food is first thing is rasgulla or gulab jamun, which you have not seen for 3 weeks. One gulab jamun does not make big difference. There it starts. I am on vacation. Body has no vacation. The moment one mistake you do, the next second one you won't even regret. Kal liya, aaj bhi lenge. Finished. All 7 pounds within a week back. It's called compound. 1 pound, 2 pounds, and then compound. Everything will come after that. You will be weighing more than the time you went there, more than the amount of weight that you went there. Then regret. When do we begin again? So that one pramada leading to more and more possibilities of that. Moha. So here, in this case of a jnanin, what is that he is trying to overcome? Is individualized ego, I am so and so, which causes all the trouble and bondage. The delusion leads him to ahandihi, individual identification strongly with body, mind, senses, etc. All that at once it will start. From ahandi tadaha bandha, bondage. So from moha, of the nature of delusion, or moving away from one's own true nature, causing delusion. Delusion in the form of from I am Brahman to am I Brahman? That's moha. Then I am ego. I am the individual. Then all connected identification leading to bondage. The body, then body is the nature. I'm old, I'm unhealthy, I'm this, I'm that. Or if it is the mind, I'm happy, I'm unhappy, I'm angry, I'm upset, all that. So ahandihi tadaha bandhaha, then vyata, all the pain, regrets, sorrow. So that is the reason why from self-forgetfulness starts the delusion, moha. From delusion comes the ego, ahandi. The ego sense leads to bondage, bandha. Bondage breeds misery. So that is the reason why one mistake that is done leading to continuous further succession of mistakes. Jnaninaha swaswarupatah pramadat prachyutehe अन्यः अनर्थः हानिः न विद्यते यस्मात् ततः स्वरूपप्रच्युतः सत्यां मोहः विस्मरणं forgetfulness तदो अनात्मनि अहंकारे अहंदिहि ततः बन्धः देहादौ अध्यासः ततो व्यथा चरामरणादि जन्या. So what we basically want to overcome, what drives us to this moksha is shoka. If a person is having all jolly time in this life, he may not even look for moksha. Right? If everything is happy going, everything is pleasant, everything is the way one wants, then where is the question of moksha? Even thought of moksha. So that is why you see the people who are young, whose bodies are healthy because they are not physically, everything is all right. And also not many responsibilities are there in life. So therefore, whether they are earning or whatever, then they spend and go to parties and then this, that. And whatever they eat, even if they eat a stone, it will get digested. So no problem with the body. And money is there in the hand because of whatever you're earning. Spend money. There is no other responsibility. So if you talk to them about moksha, they say, what's wrong with you? I'm happy. There's no need for all these things. So only when slowly things are not the way you want, either the body gives up or money drains out or your some relationship failure or suddenly job is gone or the economy is so bad you cannot survive, whatever. So slowly, when we come to realize that things are not the way we want, happens over a period of time, you recognize things are going on their own, not according to what I would imagine. Uh, and more responsibilities comes to one. Then one realizes that sarvam shanikam shanikam dukkham dukkham. So the moksha icha either comes by observing the world around and recognizing it earlier enough, or one has to go through the experience of sorrow and then open up the mind and say, okay, I have to get out of this. Somehow or the other find a solution. So here, that's why he says, jnanina. Those people who have already understood that they are not the novice, they are not the starting point. He is addressing whom? Jnani. Jnani means those who have got knowledge, all right. They are not sadhakas of the lower nature. Here he is talking about people who have gained, because we are now looking at 320, it is already covered quite a bit of what the knowledge is all about. It's not talking in the beginning. But the people who have gained this knowledge quite a bit, understood, yet if they fall for prey for things, then yes, mohaha, ahandihi, bandhaha, then yata, sorrow. So now, if one is recognizing the problem, in spite of knowledge, my mind is falling for things. What causes this? Now you say the next verse, he says, Vishaya bimukam drishtva vidvam samapi vismritihi vikshepayadi dhitoshaihi yoshajaramiva priyam Vishaya bimukam drishtva vidvam samapi vismritihi vikshepayadi doshaihi yoshajaramiva priyam. Vidvam samapi, to the person who is vidwan. Vidvam samapi vismritihi vikshepayati. Vishaya abhimukam drishtva. That is the point. So, Vishaya abhimukam, bahirmukam. Vishaya abhimukam means Vivekinam api, vidvamsam api, Vishaya abhimukam, bahirmukam drishtva di doshaihi. Due to the defects of the intellect, which is given in the state of erroneousness, the defect of the buddhi is given. As the Upanishad would say, Paranchikani Bidranat Swayambhu Tasmat Parang Pashyati na Antaratman. Antaratmanam na Pashyati, Parang Pashyati. Doesn't see the self within, he only sees the outside. Why? Because Paranchikani Bidranat Swayambhu Tasmat. Because by nature sense organs are extrovert. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, etc. are extrovert only. They are not those who are capable of even seeing the self. So if you are in a room where windows are there, through windows what do you see? Outside only. Windows are used for seeing outside. See, let us say there is a home and it is completely dark and you are inside that. Windows are for what? To see what is outside. All right. Now you go outside, use the same window to what is see inside. Nothing will see. It's dark. Windows are meant for seeing both sides only, from inside out, outside in. But inside is dark, then how will you, with the window, you can see anything? You cannot see because there is no light inside. In the same way, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, etc., are the windows of the mind, and because of which the mind is always flowing outside only through that. It cannot turn around and see it in. So, tasmat parang pashyati विक्षेपमपि विक्षेपयति नष्टात्मबोधं करोति. Nashta atma bodham karoti. Vikshepayati means it distracts you from the knowledge. Visheshena chalayati, duram nayati, pramayati. It takes you far away from that knowledge. And the example that he gives is very, very, very strong example he gives. What is that? He gives example. Yosha priyam jaramiva jaram anya asaktam priyam iva swapadim iva va. It is like what do you call that? A woman torments her daunting paramour. Gurudev writes it here very, very carefully. A paramour, Jara, is a secret lover. He uses his partner, Priya, for his own satisfaction. When once secretly in love, but the beloved is beyond reach, the memory of the sweetheart haunts the Jara and makes him miserable. Yosha Jaramiva Priyam. How the mind looking for the beloved who is not available to oneself and keeps longing for her, so too in the self-forgetfulness where the mind has already become extrovert, it always longing for more and more an experience of some external nature and keeps you miserable there. The misery of the people is usually caused by seeking something which is not presently available to oneself. So that is the reason why this example is given, very strong example. Similarly, you are wedded to the self Brahman, but you have also a private secret love for the matter, equipments of the world, of objects. You are constantly fascinated by innumerable objects of the world. Every one of it deals out more and more disastrous vitrolic sorrows. Vitrolic sorrows. Normal sorrows could be borne and some sympathy from others could be expected. But these are sorrows one cannot even tell another or expect any sympathy from anyone. Can anyone say, I am very sorrowful? Why? Because, my girlfriend is married. I am not to be able to be the girlfriend. What do you mean? You are married. Yeah, but don't tell anybody but I am. So whom do you tell? Similarly, you are wedded to Brahman, but your mind is seeking for something else. So such a kind of a cheating, right? You can't tell anybody also. So, hence, once you start acting disloyal to your own divine nature, you become miserable. Like the beloved haunted by the memory of this secret lover. So that is the reason Maya is used as Vaishya. In another next verse, you will say is a Vaishya. Vaishya means the one who is charming you does not actually marry to you. Just today we are doing the Dakshinamurti Sutram. There also the same word is used. She is really cheating the mind. and it is it is unexplainable how it does. As we saw in Panchadashi, the word that is achintya rachana, mysterious one, nirvachaniya, indescribable. How it does that. One more example he gives here. Yata prakrishtam shaivalam shanamatram na tishtati avrunoti tata maya pragyam vapi parang mukham. Yatapakrushtam shaivalam shanamatram na tishtati avrunoti tata maya pragyam vapi parang mukham. Apakrushtam shaivalam yata na ksanamatram tishtati. When you are, near a water filled with moss, that moss you can, or moss or moss, whatever you call, moss maybe, you remove it to see your face, but if you leave the hand, again it will come back. So long as you keep it away, probably you may have a clear water, and the green patch that is covering the water. Then the moment you leave, it will again come back and close it. Yata apakrishtam, apakarshanam means to remove. Apakrishtam shaivalam, the moss. Ksanamatram na tishtati, not even a moment it would stay. Avrunoti, it covers again. Yata tata maya, this maya, the power of maya, parangmukam pragyam avrunoti. Parangmukam means bahirmukam. Moment the mind turns outside, it immediately starts. A kshanam, 1 minute you give. Not even a few seconds you give the attention outside, it will bring. Immediately it will start. There is also waiting outside your door. The moment you open the door, start. It is waiting for you. How powerful it is. If you stir the water with your hand, the moss moves away easily, immediately. You can at once see the reflection of the sky in the water therein. But when you remove your hand, the moss again closes in to cover the waters, and the green spread veils the reflection of the infinite sky. Similarly, into our mind, Maya comes and covers our vision of the infinite, till it is no more reflected in our bosom. Vasanas or thoughts cover up our experience of the infinite when our attention is turned outward. Even if a man be very wise, if he becomes extrovert, he ceases immediately to experience the reality. See, a person who is in Samadhi Avastha perhaps is safe. Right? Because in Samadhi Avasthayam, in the state of abidance in the self, there is no possibility of Maya coming in because he is not fully available at all. Like in the state of sleep, we are not available for Maya to work on us. That's why Bhagavan, Arjuna asked the question, what? Siddhaprajnasya kya bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthidadehi kim prabhaseda. What happens when he comes out? Kim asida rajeta kim. How? Because in the Samadhi Avastha, probably one is not attacked by the Maya because he is abiding and then its mind is not available for Maya to overpower and all that. All right. But the moment he comes out, how does he move about without being captured by Maya? How is that possible? It will catch, immediately it will catch. Why? Because waking up means identification. When you are in the sleep, you are not identified with the body, mind, anything. So Maya cannot catch you. It is just outside the blanket, it is waiting. The moment alarm rings, it will come inside the blanket also. Chalo. Uto, 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 uto. Hungry I am. I'm hungry. So everything of the power of the Maya will come immediately after you wake up. How is that possible for such a person to not to be caught by the Maya when he is outside the Samadhi? Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamano atmannevatmana tushtaha sthita prajnastadochyate. Right? उसका तुष्टि कहाँ है? आत्मनि एव, संतुष्टि. And that's the reason why, Bhagavan Krishna very clearly said, if like that rudderless boat, how important is the control of the senses even for a person who has obtained samadhi and coming out, for him also. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehena ityadi. Then also pramadi balabhadradam, so if he is not paying attention, clearly aranti prasabam manaha, it will very forcefully drift the mind. So that is the reason why here is said Vishaya abhimukam drishtva vidvamsam abhivismritihi. Even person of knowledge also, vismritihi, vidvamsam abhivismritihi. Vishayan drishtva vismritihi bhavati eva. If one pays attention to the Vishayas of the world, Atma vismritihi bhavati eva. It will at once affect him. So Jnana Nishta is not a mere knowing, but Nishta, Vitaram Sthanam, continuous abidance. And just like the Shaivalam, the moss, even as you put it away, Shanamatram Shaivalam Apakrishtam Yata Natishtati Punaha Avrunodi Salilam Tada Maya Pragyam Vapi Kruta Kosha Panchaka Nishedamapi. Even he has done enough of this Viveka with respect to Panchakosha Viveka. I am not the Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Annamaya Kosha. Yes. ये सब किया है. कृत्वा कृत कोश पंचक निषेधमपि पराङ्मुखम् आवृणोति तिरोहित स्वरूपम करोति. That is the power of Bhagavan says, Mama Maya Turatsaya. Don't you take it simply. It's my power. So only way, hold on to his feet. Chalo, Bhagavan, you kuch bhi karo. Let her not come anywhere near me. Bhagavan smiles. आ जाओ, मेरे पास आ जाओ. Then only there is a protection for you. You stay away from me, I am not sure about what she will do. You come near me, you are saved. Under my shadow, she cannot do anything. Please stay away from me. So, Lakshachutam chetyadi vittamishat. Sorry. Lakshachutam chetyadi chittamishat. Bahirmugam sannipate tatastataha. Pramadada prachuta keli kandukaha. सोपानपङ्क्तौ पतितो यथा तथा लक्ष्यच्युतं चेत्यतिचित्तमीषत् बहिर्मुखं सन्निपतेस्ततस्ततः प्रमाददप्रच्युतकेलिकन्दुकः सोपानपङ्क्तौ पतितो यथा तथा. This is a very beautiful example that he brings in. Chittam yadi ishat laksham brahma tataha chutam chet. Lakshya here means Brahma. Brahma eva lakshyam. Brahma is a target. Here it is, Lakshya means that which is the very target, ideal. Chutam chet yadi. Chittam, the mind, ishat chutam chet. Even a little chutam deviated from where? From the Lakshya, from the Brahman. Lakshyam Brahma, tataha chutam chet, chittam. If the mind is deviated even a very little from that Brahma Lakshyam, bahirmukham sat anatma pravanam. Bahirmukham is anatma pravanam. Pravanam word means to bend on, to leaning to. It's different from pranava. Pravanam. Pramana means to bend on, to lean on to. Anatma pranavam, pravanam. Anatmani pravanam. Bahirmukham. The extrovertedness is nothing but leaning on to non-self. Sannipatet. Samyak nipatet. When it falls down, tatastataha. Then immediately further and further and further and further it goes. You cannot stop it. Once it has fallen even a little away from the Atman towards an Atman, thereafter to hold back is difficult. It down there. Pramadataha, out of this forgetfulness, prachyuta keli kandukaha. By mistake, pramadataha, prachyuta, fallen, keli kandukaha, the ball. You're having a basketball or some other ball in your hand and it falls away from your hand and you are on the top of a building which has some say 40 stairs, 40 steps. What happens? You cannot catch it. Definitely you cannot. Gurudev writes here, that if the ball falls down from the top of a flight of steps, say from the top of Qutub Minar, it bumps down, we can recover it only on the ground down below. The first drop may be on the first step. The second can be on the 10th. Third on the 40th. And the next bump perhaps on the 98th. It bumps down in leaps and bounds until at last it reaches the bottom. And there knocks about on the walls, right and left, forward and backward, madly for some time. Only when momentum is lost, it will remain motionless. We have to go to Qutub Minar and try this point. Next time when you go to Delhi, please take a ball with you. Chalo. I want to see what Bhagavan Shankaracharya meant by this, or even Gurudev. He might have gone there and put a ball and see what happens. It goes so fast down. Sopana pankto patitaha. Sopana pankti means the array of steps. Patitaha, fallen, yatha tada, that kandukaha, that keli kanduka, that ball which is meant for playing, it bumps and finally reaches down below. You cannot come as fast as the ball, right? You have to come step by step only. That fellow just tongue. Like in the monkeys also, they go so fast. You come down one step at a time, that goes 20 steps at a time. Meaning the mind can run down so fast, you cannot even imagine how fast it goes. So, ahankara buddhi mana prana indriya deha vishayeshu nipatet. At once as the identification begins, from ahankara to buddhi, buddhi to mind, mind to prana indriya, then deha vishaya yata pramadataha kridataha purushasya ichcha abhave api, even if he doesn't like or want, pramadataha, out of mistake or inadvertently, anavadana vashad, not being careful, prachuta kelikantukaha, the ball that is fallen, sopana panktau paditaha, falling onto the array of steps, ado ado gacchati, na grihitum shakyate tata. You cannot take it back. It is so fast. So you may go to the web and look for one small thing I want to look at, Swamiji. Some 20 steps have come. Acha, ye dekhenge. Thak. Another 25 came. Oh, yeah, interesting. Tak. So like shorts, one leading to, by the time one finishes, another has come. You don't need to do anything. It just already has come. So, this is interesting. Next one. Wow, that is very interesting. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. By the time you finish, that's 1 hour is gone. So how fast it captures the attention, right? And by watching the serial also, by the time end of the, even before the next episode, next episode starts. Skip intro. By the time the end of it and the name that this movie you're watching, next one interesting one, similar to what you've seen. Yeah, just click, starts. Make sure that you don't walk away from it. Tamiji, how do you know? It is so fast. So how is that, from where to where it jumps? We will see one more here. Vishayeshva Vishechetah Sankalpayati Tadgunan Samyak Sankalpanat Kamaha Kamat Pumsa Pravartanam Vishayeshva Vishechetah Sankalpayati Tadgunan Samyak Sankalpanat Kamaha Kamat Pumsa Pravartanam. It's similar to what Bhagavan has said in Gita, but a little more elaborate here. Chetaha Vishayeshu Avishet. Avishati. Avishat. Avishat enters. What? Vishayeshu Chetaha Avishat. Into the object's mind falls or enters. Now, this is very interesting because the question is whether the objects are getting into the mind or mind is getting into the objects. In Amsa Gita, there is a discussion on this point. But here, similar to what Kenopanishad has said, the question raised by the student is what? Kena ishitam praishitam manaha patati. In other words, kena karanena manaha patati. Mind falls. How? How is the mind falling into objects? What is prompting it? Or what makes the mind think about objects? That's his question there. That's a different reason why I asked that question there. What prompts the mind to act also? That is, then answer is different. But here the question is, here the thing is mind entering into objects. Because objects cannot by itself cannot enter into the mind unless mind is available for it. If the mind is busy with something else, how can the object will enter? Some people come to Vedanta class, keep the ears open, and doesn't really listen anything. Sound is entering into them, or they are their mind is not available. Even the sound is all over the place. They will not listen. So mind is entering into the objects. Vishayeshu avishat chetaha. Entering into the objects. Once it enters into the object, tad gunan sankalpayati. The very fact that the nature of the mind going into the object means what? It starts to think about the qualities of that object. Sankalpayati, imagining about the qualities which are favorable to one, which can give happiness to one. Samyak sankalpanat, from that samyak sankalpana, because of that imagination, kama. There in Gita, what is said? Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangaha sangat kamaha. Sangha sanjayat. That sangha is not necessarily physical sangha. It can be manas sankalpa. Sankalpa is here used, there it is used sangha. So mental association. Here mental imagination. So imagination leading to desire, kamat, pravartanam. Because of the kama, there is an action. Desire leads to action. There it is a different kamat, krodha, and all that. So we'll see more of it in the next session. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkhabhat Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.